Now, Senator Pat Toomey, the lead Republican on the Senate Banking Committee. Now, Senator, we know you want to talk about payment for order flow. We will get to that in just a minute. First, though, we want to talk about what's front and center and what's going on with the bill. The Journal has a kind of an interesting piece. In their view, you know, it's the Journal, but fly-by-night taxation. We've always known Democrats, right, are the party. They like the tax, but this time it's really kind of surreal. They started with increase the rates on corporations and the affluent, but wait, that doesn't have the votes. How about a carbon tax? No, that won't fly either. Okay, let's go after Jeff Bezos. Everybody hates billionaires. Oh, that might be unconstitutional. So let's try a 15% corporate minimum. I mean, they go from one thing to the next without any thinking about policy implications or economic implications, and they got to do it quick so that President Biden has something to take to the climate summit. This is no way to decide on major policy initiatives.
No, frankly, it should be embarrassing to them, flailing about looking for ways to grab money without any real thought given to the consequences of this. And by the way, all to fund this massive expansion of the welfare state into the middle class, people who generally don't need this huge expansion of government. It won't serve us well at all. But Republicans are left out of this conversation. This is a Democrats-only exercise, and we'll see whether the president actually has a deal.
Senator, we hear that those two horrible moderates, that they're holding up the entire Senate, but they forget that there's 50 Republicans plus the two moderates. And then what I don't understand is are there any other moderate voices in the Democratic Party at this point? I mean, instead of those poor vilified individuals. I thought about Mark Warner. Yeah. Where is he? But then I tried to figure out some other ones. And, Durbin, and Coons, Senator Coons, no. Are there any others? Where are they? They know better than this,
Joe,
don't they?
I have had the same thought many, many times. I mean, if it were 10 years ago, none of these ideas would be getting any traction, or at least very few of them would be getting traction with moderate Democrats. But now we hear this silence, but for two who have registered, their concerns and their complaints. I don't know. Maybe the Democratic Party has just almost entirely made a huge move to the left.
I said it earlier. Senator, Senate Budget Committee Chair Bernie Sanders. And I'm saying that without a hint of irony. But when you say that in a sentence, then it sort of explains everything. Hey, Senator, let's talk about your payment to order. It sounds like you like the Wild Wild West. You got the Game Stoppers, you got the apes and the AMC guys, you got all these, the gamification of it, and you say, let it fly, baby, let it roll. We don't want to do anything with payment to order. We want free commissions because it's democratizing everything. Is that what you're saying with this?
Well, so first of all, what I'm saying is I remember when I first got out of college, when I first worked in finance, and when I finally had enough money to buy a few shares of stock, I was appalled at how much I had to pay in commissions. A very modest purchase, which was all I could do at the time, would easily cost me $100 in commissions or more. Today, an American of modest means can buy stocks and pay no commission. We've democratized our markets enormously. We've had a massive increase in the numbers and percentage of Americans who are investors. That is good for them. And payment for order flow is one contributing factor. Technology is a big part of it as well. But this is a mechanism that has helped consumers have no-cost trading, and it has helped innovators. So new platforms have been able to come into existence. Small companies have been able to develop some market share. So I'm asking the question of the SEC, what's wrong with this model? Tell me what's wrong, and tell me about a better model, and I'm all ears, and I hear crickets. So I don't think we need to fix something that isn't broken. Super excellent execution, right, at better than exchange posted prices, and not having to pay a commission for that. I've yet to hear what's wrong with that.
Hey, Senator, I just wanted to pivot back to the conversation you were having with Joe. I appreciate the pity party you're having about the Democratic Party and what they're doing and this and that. And I called what's happening here a clown, either a clown show or a clown car. But at the same time, we have to have a real conversation about spending. And, if there's going to be a bipartisan agreement to spend money, we have to come up with a bipartisan agreement to find revenue to pay for said spending. And it feels like the Republican Party as well seems to go, I'm happy to spend all this money, but then when I actually need to pay for it, I can't find it. I can't do carried interest over here. I can't do capital gains here. I can't do estate taxes here. None of it works because when we actually get into the details, there's too much of a problem. What do we do? What do we do?
Well, I would say two things. I would reject the premise that we want to spend just like the Democrats. As you've noticed, there are no Republicans who have embraced this massive multi-trillion-dollar spending blowout that our Democrats are insisting on doing on a strictly party line basis. So there is a big difference there. The second thing I would point out is, our view is...
Even if you put that aside, there's been an enormous amount of spending over the last 4 years. Well, with COVID and everything else, I think we can all agree there's spending. Some of that spending you thought was too much. Some of that spending you thought was too much by your own party. So let's just...
Yeah, and I voted against it. Right? I voted against the infrastructure bill, even though I think you can make a case for increasing infrastructure spending. But I think they went way too far, spending money in categories that we don't need and shouldn't do. But I would also point out, look, I think the 2017 tax reform was extremely constructive, accelerated economic growth. We had record low unemployment, rising wages, narrowing of the income gap. Before COVID hit, I mean, we were really hitting on all 8 cylinders. The economy was the best of my lifetime. Strong economic growth generates the revenue for the spending that you actually do need to engage in, not this wild, excessive spending that our Democrats are engaging in. We've got record revenue coming in. I mean, despite lower marginal rates, and we've seen this before, the added growth more than offsets the lost revenue. It's not a revenue problem. It's a spending problem. That's what we need to focus on.
All right, Senator, something's going to happen, right? I mean, and that's the other thing. Sometimes, and both parties do it, the party wants to stay in power. So we got to have some things in the win column. And sometimes they don't even know what's in the bill, but just to get a win. So they're going to have to do, they're going to do 1 3/4, do you think, plus the 1.2? So we're going to do $3 trillion in our sleep.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know where it's going to end. I think there's still some chance that this just never gets done. I think that's a small chance. I think most likely the Democrats do something. But here, I think they've backed themselves into a really bad spot because there will be a huge disappointment in their base if they get nothing done, and that's a political problem. But if they actually get this done, when you look at some of the things in this bill, the majority of Americans are not going to support it. So I don't, they've backed themselves into this position. They own it. I don't know how they resolve it.
Well, I can't believe that there is no common border between Virginia and Pennsylvania. I don't know whether you knew that, but what's going on in Virginia? Do you think that, I mean, that could influence things too? If McAuliffe goes down in flames,
that looks to me like a dead even race right now. I think that is an absolute toss-up.
That's going to make it harder if they don't do something before then, because then regular people in the Senate that might be moderate.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's amazing for a state that Joe Biden carried by 10 points.
Okay, Senator. See you later. Thank you.